What's going on, everyone? I'm going to get straight back to the action today with part 2. Just want to say a quick thank you to everyone on YouTube and the various Facebook groups. All the questions and different advice have been very helpful to me. So let's get to it. Alright, so also I just hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. I know that's not a ton, but whatever, gotta start somewhere. And today we have my Choco Lab there, Chicolata, working on the car with us. So yeah, where do we leave off? I think it was working on the door caps. So the last you saw, we had the front door cap where I colored in those heads of those rivets. And I've since done the rear as well. Chico's over there, he wants to go outside. Chico, say hi to the camera real quick. Hey. Good boy. Alright. One thing I noticed a lot of comments about that I want to make clear, I guess, is that this is definitely not my final rendition of the door caps. This is more so for mock-up purposes. Eventually I'll definitely want to have those rivets hidden, or maybe do a bolt from the backside. Something along those lines. But yeah, I'm getting everything kind of mocked up. I want to see how everything's going to work together. And yeah, so you'll see that trend kind of continued as we work back here on the wing. Alright, so off camera, I started getting to work on the wing and the, I guess I'm going to call this the trunk lid spoiler. I just wanted to get it sort of in place, mocked up, skip some of the boring stuff, some of the measuring and that sort of thing. What I ended up realizing, and I'll show you in a second here, is that the mounting positions, specifically for this wing, that come with it, which are just bolts off of the back of the trunk, are not going to be enough. They kind of only support it in one direction, and it's still able to kind of flex down here. So I went ahead and made my own 2 additions here and here. So this, at least for now, is semi-sturdy. Again, we'll get more into that in a second. Then I started trying to mount the wing, and the wing was sort of warped. Basically, it was twisted like this way, so like as if the wing itself was like twisting. So basically, I could have this side here mounted flat to the trunk, and on this side, only the rear of it would be touching the trunk, and the front kind of wanted to stick up. So my plan was to securely mount one side and hopefully be able to just flex the wing a little bit until, and kind of, use the screws in the bottom there to slowly flex the wing into place. Which worked until it didn't. So looking at the back here, I know my lighting is really poor, but basically there's 3 bolts underneath here. You can see these 2 lines. There's another one up under there mounting the wing. Over here, I had the same thing happen, right? And I slowly tightened it down, it flexed down nicely, and all seemed good. And then I tried to shut the trunk. And what happened is it split. So I don't know if you guys remember, in my Duraflex review video, I showed that the front of this spoiler was kind of split open, and I tried to kind of do a quick fix with just a little bit of super glue, not thinking the crack was too bad. But that crack expanded quite a lot. See if we can see up inside there a little bit. Well, it's not going to focus. But yeah, it's split quite far, and basically just relieved all that stress that I put on it when I flexed it. So yeah, that's a pretty big bummer. We're gonna have to figure out a way to mend that, and then a new solution that doesn't require such flexing. But that's gonna put a big delay on this, so that's gonna have to wait. So for the time being, I'm gonna be focusing on the trunk lid spoiler and the rear bumper. And to be perfectly honest, I'm starting to think I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to my Duraflex review video. The more I've been working on this, the more issues I've been running into with like warped pieces and just general fitment mounting things. Yeah, I'm actually I'm fairly disappointed so far with the quality. And where it's split, I got a glimpse inside the spoiler, and it's thin. The whole thing obviously is hollow, but man, is that fiberglass and resin really conservatively applied. The nuts where the bolts screw up into in the bottom of the spoiler are not straight, and they're hardly secured in there. I ended up not using the nuts at all. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of issues. It's really making me almost think I should have just gone the more expensive route with a proper, brand name kit, Pandem or something of the likes. But yeah, so the first thing I think I'm gonna do right now is remove the wing, and yeah, we'll go from there. Just want to give you guys a quick look, at this setup before I remove the wing. It does look pretty cool, and it's a shame that it snapped like it did. I mean, granted, it still doesn't even look straight at all. It's pretty wonky on the top there, but yeah. Alright, so with the trunk open, I can show you quick how the wing actually mounts. There's a screw in there, and up inside that hole. So one thing I guess I gotta give Duraflex some props on is that the existing mounting on the wing sort of lines up with those holes. Not great, but it does somewhat, and it's gonna be the same on that side. But the issue, on the contrary, is that the trunk lid spoiler does not line up with existing holes at all. Because we have that latch, we have a light over here, some of the vacuum line and other mechanisms for locking that, all of those existing holes are covered. So when I was trying to get that mocked up, and I did that first to help me align the wing, what I did is I actually ran a bolt all the way through, just a sheet metal screw actually, into the trunk lid on either side. Now I think it actually needs support from the top anyways, because just having it on the back, this would be liable to flex down. But yeah, so, and you can see how it moves because I don't have the other supports in yet, but we're going to cover that in a second here. But anyways, we are going to get that wing removed right now. Alright, so got the wing off. Now I can kind of show you the top of this. You can see where it ended up mounting. This is the seam for between the trunk and the quarter panel. That side and this side. Yeah, let's take a look at the actual wing now. You can see the damage. Chico's toy over here. So here's where it's split. It was already kind of messed up on this corner, as I think I showed before. Alright, I got a little better light now. So it's split pretty far down there. Let's see if I pull this up. Wonder if we can get a view inside. But yeah, it's quite thin in there. If we come around, you can see it went almost all the way down to the back. So it's gonna require some pretty extensive repairs. I want to see if I can get a view of where the nuts are secured in there. So hopefully you can kind of see this. You can see those little mounds of fiberglass. That's where the nuts are actually secured. Yeah, it's not impressive, to say the least. Also up here, I kind of wedged this open, but this corner looks to be just a mound of plastic. It's real thick right there. I'm guessing they had an issue manufacturing and then just went ahead and filled that corner in. But yeah, quality is definitely not impressing me. But anyways, we are gonna put this in the rear view mirror, pun intended, for now. And we're gonna start working on the rest of the stuff on the rear end. Alright, so I want to get back to this deck lid, spoiler, trunk lid. If you see these little pieces of tape I have here, that line represents where one of the existing bolt holes is, except that it's underneath here pointing backwards. So you'd run a bolt from the inside of the trunk back. Have another one there, there, and on the very end there. Now, that's where the issue starts, because in that corner we have a couple layers of the sheet metal blocking it. Over there we have, again, the same problem. Over here, if we can get that to kind of focus there, and again over there. So that's going to require a bit of cutting of the trunk itself. I think what I'm going to do right now is put this one also on the back burner and start mocking up that rear bumper. And in order to do that, what I think might be helpful will be popping out the taillights. So we'll get that going right now. Alright, so removing the taillights is very easy on these cars. Excuse all the boxes. Sorry, this has been sort of storage for me. Anyways, basically there are these two little twist lock things. Slide those over and pull out the entire light assembly, bulbs and all. Remember not to touch the bulbs with your fingers. And then that exposes 6 nuts here. Actually, one of mine is broken off. But you remove those, and then this piece will separate to the inside, and the tail light will come out of the rear of the car. With those 6, or in my case 5 nuts removed, this plastic piece should come off. May take a little bit of kind of working with it. There you go. So you have this plastic piece. On the reverse is the shiny reflective parts. We'll set that aside, and then we might need a little coercing here as well. Be able to pop the taillight out backwards. Yeah, there we go. Just a little stuck on there. So the taillight comes out. It has this little seal around it, so be careful of that. So we're gonna set that aside. Now I'm not certain that these even need to be removed to do the bumper, but I think it's just gonna be a little helpful in case we need to run some attachments through this bit of sheet metal. Alright, so what we got going on right now is I have the bumper kind of set up on the back of the car. Now it's just slid on over the top of the old bumper. I think that's how it's gonna be. But what I want to figure out is its positioning, like front to back, like how far in it has to sit. So to do that, I'm using the rear fender flare to kind of line it up to make sure that it comes right to the edge here. So we'll try to get that mocked up, and then we'll figure out exactly what we're going to do for this initial attachment. Again, this probably won't be final like everything else. Eventually I'm going to probably do a whole video going through all the different pieces and making sure they're very secure and the mounting hardware is all hidden and all that. Alright, so I've got the bumper at least temporarily mounted. So up in here I have one sheet metal screw, same in this corner. Now that's just going through this thin little layer of fiberglass, so it's a very light way to kind of hold it where I want it while I figure out other methods. I removed the plastic piece that covers right here. It's over there. That just snaps out of here. I I did find something kind of interesting though. I don't know what these are. It's like vents. This one has like a flap on it. Maybe that's all it is. It's just simply some sort of weird vent to vent any vapors in the trunk. But yeah, if anyone knows, let me know in the comments. So I think what I'm gonna do next is do another one of the same sort closer to the center. And then what I might end up doing is actually removing these ones, because hopefully you can see this. This doesn't really fit up to the body like it should. So I'm gonna have to kind of flex that over. And in order to do that, I'm gonna wanna remove that one to hopefully allow it to flex a little better. Same thing goes for this side. But I got it as well lined up as I could with the fender flare. And to line it up, it actually hangs over where I have the fender already cut to. So it is pretty close to the wheel, so we'll see how that ends up. Might end up having to trim that a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a couple more bolts in there, and then we'll get working on how we're gonna secure this both to the body and stop it from moving up or down. Alright guys, so I got 2 more screws in there holding it in place. Now I need to figure out how to secure the sides. Now I have a couple ideas. I'll basically make a custom little bracket that comes off of the quarter panel and screws onto the back side of the bumper. But I'm not really certain about that. And kind of what I'm thinking of doing is getting this piece mounted up. So right about here, this sits on top of the bumper right there. And then maybe just connecting the bumper to this and using this piece to hold it up. Now the problem is this fender, if you watched my Duraflex review video, this fender, like the front fender, is twisted. It's kind of the same as the wing. So I think what I'm going to work on is trying to make this piece more flexible, as well as all the other fenders. My plan to do that is basically to slowly remove material from sort of the center section using a Dremel, so that it's a bit thinner and a little more pliable. It's going to be a long process. I'm not going to include that in the video. Also, I'm going to go to the store, see what I can find for some sort of fiberglass repair, and get to working on repairing the wing so I can have that mounted up. But yeah, aside from that, I need to still finish mounting up this wing fully. But I think that's gonna wrap what I do on video here today. I know it wasn't too much, really just kind of wanted to show the issues I was running into with the wing. So yeah, as always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the comments, please keep them coming. Obviously I am not experienced in this. Also have, very limited tools and supplies to do this with. But stay tuned. The next video is going to be getting the fenders to work. So that should be an interesting one. I saved it for last because it's the part I'm dreading the most. Also, hopefully by that time I will have the wing semi-repaired and we'll give that one another go. And I'll make sure to get it on video next time. Also, I'm starting to think I'm probably going to make a Duraflex review number 2, because the more I do this, the more my views are changing. It was hard to judge without actually having mounted anything. So yeah, I don't think my outcome is going to be quite the same as it was the first time. Alright guys, one more thing quick before I go. I decided to pull this the rest of the way off of the spoiler because it was already pretty darn close, and I think it's going to be easier for me to repair it if it's completely off. So now we can actually take a look at the inside of this. You can see kind of the inserts they use, which are really barely in there and definitely not straight. It is incredibly thin. I mean, I'm gonna guess 2 or 3 millimeters on that. You can get a look at the inside. There's a lot of bubbling on the fiberglass layers, But anyways, I'm hoping I can find something to kind of fill this enough that it's going to be stronger than it was before. We'll see though. Another interesting thing, let's see if I can zoom in on this. And a lot of the spots, like in the corners, you can see these weird like goops of what I'm pretty sure is just plastic. So again, I'm pretty sure that is something where they had a mistake in the manufacturing and kind of just went back over it and filled it with this plastic stuff. But definitely created some weak points. So it is what it is. So yeah, as always, sure to drop a like in the video, subscribe to see more, and I will see you next time.